It's joke, no joke, no joke. Oh, you know what it is. Keep on hating. You know what it is. Joke, no joke. I am in the building, baby. Oh, man. As you can see, I'm ready for the storm, baby. You know, it's cold out here. You know what I mean? We got the storm getting ready to come through. As you can see, I'm over here keeping warm as I should. Shout out to my man Pac in the building. Pac 9900. You know what I mean? In the building. Ramona, of course, is in the building. You already know. My fellow Americans, salute in the building. That's the top three already. My man Whack on Wood in the building. Certainty in the building. Certainty in the building. Who's this? Nita B in the building. Chuck Dickinson in the building. Lamont in the building. Rasan in the building. Eddie J in the building. Sean in the building. Mary in the building. Curtis in the building. You already know. Certainty, don't be mad at me. Certainty. I don't know. How do you want me to pronounce it, man? All right. Joke, no joke, we in the building. Oh, man, this is a good one. This is going to be a good one tonight. Woo, baby. This is going to be a good one tonight. Certainty in the building. You know, I'm going to jack your name up every time. Certainty is in the building, all right? All right? Oh, baby. Let me tell y'all, man. Ugh, man, okay. Unless you've been under a rock, unless you've been under a rock, shout out to the Art of Dialogue. He dropped the bomb today. You know what I mean? Now, Tupac cousin Jamala, she did an interview with the Art of Dialogue and gave us some information that hasn't been out there before because she's never done an interview uh, in this sector before that I can remember. And she gave some information that cracked the code for me. You know what I'm saying? But when I tell you this is the one, hit that like button because I'm going to break this one down. And the way I end this show, wait to the end of this show. Watch what I play at the end. Y'all really gonna be like, what the hell? Oh, baby. I've been saving this clip for something special, and this is the one tonight. Oh, baby. Once again, shout out to Art of Dialogue, man. Choke, no joke. Let's get to the show, baby. This is going to be a goodie. I'll put that on everything under the sun. All right? Choke, no joke. Let's
beat on the drums.
Many have said it. Let's go out to the East Coast, West Coast. Put it up. Palm to the trees and the palms of dealers and fiends. Late night roam the streets. Weed is weaker, but it's cheaper. Not many chicks frontin' like divas. Out west, every chick's a model like Eva. And you know I'm far from believing her, so I'm G'ing her like she G'ing me. Banging in LA is a different thing. At the end, you either dead on the bang, getting out, doing better things.
Sunset, where they hang. Hollywood, where they hustle for change. Times Square here, it's the same. No matter where you go, you'll find a lane. On the west, they kick it with Kane. On the east, trees the social thing. East Coast, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast. Grab your raps, roll it up. If you rap West Coast, East Coast, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast. Grab your glasses, take a toast. If you rap East Coast. When I'm on the west and I'm doing my thing, don't offer me coke or your nose I bang. Friends don't offer other deadly things. Thanks for the hospitality, we'll still hang. I won't judge you, leave me as I came. On the road to success, top of the game. Eat all the finer things in the food chain. Teach my kids to do the same. Whether East Coast, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast. Grab your raps, roll it up. If you rap West Coast, East Coast, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast. Grab your glasses, take a toast. If you rap East Coast. Gotta love life and offer wonderful things. Being to travel is a privileged thing. Came back to the east, air wasn't fresh. Streets filled with trash, various people in the ass. It's easy to tell who's upper middle class. Police and racism, same as crash. Back to where they not social, where they less vocal. When they don't know you, be careful, show you around the East Coast, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast. Grab your raps, roll it up. If you rap East Coast, whether East Coast, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast. Pop your bottles and toss the cork. If you rap West Coast. Both coasts are known to give you fame. Got paparazzis playing cameras your way. Got you bobbing and weaving like Cassius Clay. Most thugs turn Muslim in older days. Change their name to Allah they pray. Probably till they decay. This go out to the east and west. For Big and Pac, y'all let's connect. Whether East Coast, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast. Grab your raps, roll it up. If you rap West Coast, whether East Coast, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast. You can't get the West without the ES. So it's manifested that we connect. You know what it is. Choke, no joke. Learn from mistakes, baby. You know what it is. Greg on the track. Rest in peace, baby. Either war, we here now. You know what it is. Choke, no joke. About to do a little smile treatment, you know. Yeah. Oh, shit.
Choke, no joke, chicky, choke, no joke. Choke, no joke, chicky, choke, no joke. I am in the building, live. All right. Going live on you, Instagram too. Choke, no joke. I am live on YouTube. I am live on Instagram. You know, I got to show my man Pac for this one. Right? So, tonight was an explosive night in the YouTube universe. You know what I mean? Choke, no joke in the building. Shout out to everybody, my membership gang. Much love to y'all. Pac, Certainty, Who else is the membership gang in here? You know, I got my moderator, his squad in the building, my fellow Americans. I don't see CC Crippin, but she'll be coming soon. She probably ain't getting no notification. My fellow Americans, you're gonna have to hold it down for now. Let me send CC Crippin an email, let her know I'm live. She been waiting on this one too. Yeah, email my other phone. All right, well, look. So tonight, shout out to the Art of Dialogue, you know what I mean? He dropped the interview with Jamala, Tupac's first cousin, and it was very, very explosive. Very explosive, right? Because it was things that was talked about that haven't been talked about. Please hit that like button if you just came in, and if you're new here or you've been here before and you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button right now. If it wouldn't hurt you, it don't cost you nothing. It's just a push of a button, baby. It's free. All right. But it'll help a brother out if you can subscribe. I appreciate it. All right. And the like button, send out the notifications so your favorite people will be notified to come back in. All right. Yeah. So where I want to begin at, right, in this interview, and shout out to Jamala, right? So today, Jamala uh, was asked about how she feel about the rumors that surrounding Suge Knight may have allegedly has something to do with the Tupac assassination. Now, the interviewer, I feel like, was taking a little shot at me because, you know, part of my theory is that Death Row has something to do with Tupac being assassinated, with the dirty pig, Porky, Rodent Rat Jr. allegedly being involved. But you know, the interviewer uh, is stuck on the whole Keefy D thing. So I think that when they asked that question, that they thought they was gonna get a choke. Nothing you say sound remotely true, and they got shot, right? And how I know they got shot because they wasn't expecting the answer in there, and I could tell they were shocked because it was certain information that's public knowledge to many of us that follow this case that the interviewer didn't even know about, which I will get to in it, right? So, um, as you can see, you know, the interviewer didn't want to say anything about where the theory came from, or but they just said it. They just said that it was just rumors on the internet. And like I said, I'm sure they was expecting Jamala to be like, "Nah, get out of here," like as if they was talking to Reggie or something, or somebody that's close to Reggie. And surprisingly, they got a clear yes, and they had very valid reasons to think that, right? Like the first one, Jamala stated that uh, Suge Knight, I'm saying allegedly, but because I wasn't there, but she was there, so it's not alleged on her behalf because she's witness. She witnessed this. that she stated that Suge Knight allegedly talked Tupac out of taking his bulletproof vest to Vegas, which is completely odd to me, right? Because why would he give a hoot if Pac took his vest or wore his vest, right? Right? And she said that he tells Pac that he doesn't need his vest because he got him, right? Like, this dude tells Tupac, you don't need your vest. Don't worry about that. I got you. Like he Iron Man, right? Which is also funny because in one of his interviews, the dude is like, Suge is like, he shielded Pac. When the shooting started happening, Pac tried to dive in. Well, one time he says Pac tried to dive in the back seat and he grabbed him and told him, get down. And then another time he said when the bullets went off, he jumped over Pac. That's how he got hit in the head and stuff, right? And he shielded him and covered him when the shots went off, right? But according to Jamala, Tupac's cousin, Suge talked him out of even bringing his vest to Vegas, right? This is why Pac didn't have his vest, according to her, right? Second thing that she talked about, and I'm only saying allegedly to protect myself legally, but you can watch the interview for herself. This is no alleged on her behalf. She said Suge Knight talked Tupac out of going to Atlanta to deal with his family and insisted that he was to go to Vegas with them, right? Now, we all know the story, and if you don't know the story, I'll give you a quick little backstory of why Tupac wanted to go to Atlanta. His cousin, who is a recovering addict at the time, had stole Tupac's guns and went and sold them, I guess allegedly to get high or whatever. So Pac was highly upset that, he was still dealing with substance abuse in the family and he wanted to go check his cousin, but Suge insisted that he go to Vegas and go deal with that later, right? Now, at this time, they at Pac House in Calabasas. Suge came out there and to meet up with Pac and them so they all could drive out to Vegas, right? Now, according to Jamala, right? Kadada Jones, Quincy Jones' daughter, seemingly didn't trust Suge and was very observant that Suge was adamant about Pac going to Vegas and that he didn't need his bulletproof vest. Like she was a little uneasy about, him allegedly forcing Pac to go to Vegas and telling him that he didn't need his bulletproof vest. According to Jamala, Kadada antennas was up. Her spidey senses was tingling when Suge was stating this, right? Now, here's the thing that got me bugging out, right? When Kenya Moore did that interview, Dad's baby mother, Kenya Ware, I think her name is, not Kenya Moore. That's the housewife chick. I think her name is Kenya Ware. She did an interview, and when she said that when the shooting happened or whatever, that Sharitha was upset and asking was her daughter with them because her daughter went to Vegas with Suge. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Suge told me he didn't have his daughter with him. Now, I don't know if he's saying that he didn't take his daughter with him, because I think that's what he told me. but I learned that I have to take everything with a grain of salt with him, right? But it's either in the Art of Dialogue interview, he addresses Kenya Ware saying that he had his daughter and he denied it, or it was on Collect Calls. But don't hold me to that. I'm going to go back and listen because it's been a minute. But I remember him telling me, because I told him, yo, this girl said, you know, Sharita was worried about you having your daughter. He was like, man, I ain't have my daughter with me out in Vegas. But according to Jamala, Suge pulled up with his 4-year-old daughter and she rode out there with them to Vegas. Suge was in the car with his daughter. Pac, Kadada, Jamala, I think Gaddafi, and maybe one other person was in the car with Pac, Kadada, Jamala. I think it was Gaddafi, and then 3 other people from the Outlaws rode in a different car. All right, somewhere around there. Right now, she said, now Suge was in the car with his 4-year-old daughter. Right, and I believed him over Kenya because, wow, why would Suge lie? That sounds stupid now. Because I know Suge lied to me before, so and who am I? I didn't grow up with him or whatever, so he could be telling me anything, right? But I'm thinking, why would he lie to me? And why would he take a kid to Las Vegas? Because of course, they kids can't go in casinos and things like that. But I do remember Pork Butt saying that they was going to have a family outing the day after the fight, and they was taking the family to I don't know if he said it was a cookout or something. They was doing something or whatever. But however, nonetheless, Jamala story matches Kenya Ware's story of and Sharitha's story of Suge did drive out there to Vegas with his 4-year-old daughter. Well, she was 4 at the time. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It to me, it seems true, right? But I don't know. But to me now, it seems true. If Kenya's saying it, Jamal is saying it, uh, that means Kadada and them was there. I guess somebody could ask, some of the outlaws that was there because they just probably never been asked that question, right? And it's interesting, right? So another thing Jamala said is that, you know, even though Pac didn't want to go to Vegas, you know, Jamala was saying, she never been in Vegas before, so she was excited to go, and it was her birthday and somebody else's birthday, and she wanted to celebrate, but Pac didn't want his cousin to go, but Kadada talked Pac into letting her go because she didn't want to be the only girl there. So Pac allowed Jamala to go on the strength of that Kadada wanted her to be there, right? So while Kadada and Pac cousin um, Jamala, they said while Pac and them was getting ready and stuff, and the Outlaws, they went and sat out in front of the house, right, waiting for them to come out and get ready. And she was like, while they was sitting at the front of the house, Kadada noticed Suge body language, and she was saying certain things like, "Look at him. He could be plotting to do something right now, and we wouldn't even know." So Kadada was not trusting Suge. She felt like, you know, for her to not trust Suge means clearly Pac didn't trust him because why wouldn't she trust him if Pac did? And then remember, we got to go back to the Snoop incident in New York, where Snoop went on the radio with Angie Martinez and said that he didn't have no beef with Puff and Big. And then we got to go to Pac going over to Suge at the hotel, which Neckbone just co-signed in Reggie's interview, right? That's another thing that Reggie interviewed him that blew up in Reggie's face, right? Remember, Michael Moore is the one that told us that who was Pac bodyguard that day, that him and Pac was riding in the limo. He heard Snoop on the radio. He got mad. They went to the hotel where Suge was at, and him and Suge was beefing. And Pac told Suge, yo, after Machiavelli, I'm out. I'm done with Death Row. You got your 3 albums. After I cut Machiavelli, I'm done. Right? And he said that Suge was and Pac was gonna have a fight, and they was like bucking up to each other. And Michael Moore said he got in the middle of them and told Suge, yo, I'm still his bodyguard. You can't do that. Now, in the more recent interview with Neckbone, y'all probably ain't see that part yet because I saw the whole thing already, right? Neckbone, Reggie asked him, man, dudes were saying that, Pac and Suge was beefing at the hotel or whatever. Man, can you talk on that? Thinking that Neckbone was going to be like, man, that ain't true. And Neckbone was like, yeah, man, that was the first time I ever seen Pac and Suge like getting ready to get into it. And he was like, yo, Suge was like pressing up on Pac, but then he wrote it off like, man, but brothers fight all the time, man. One day, man, we could be at odds with each other. 3 days later, man, we buddies again. But yeah, they was getting ready to get into it. Now y'all could go and watch that. Neckbone say that himself. So that goes to prove that for all those years that video been out, shout out to RJ Barnes, right? That video been out there with Michael Moore, right? Saying that Tupac and Suge was going to have a fight. Neckbone just co-signed that, right? And then after that fight that he was going to have, that Michael Moore broke it up. Tupac says to the other security dude, after he told Suge he done with Death Row and all that, that he was a dead man walking, right? Now, why would Pac say, knock on wood, man, I'm mad he marked himself like that, but Pac said he was a dead man walking right after that incident where he told Suge he was done with Death Row, and he left that incident at the hotel where they was getting ready to fight. And like you can hear you'll hear Neckbone talk about it if you didn't hear it already. But he co-signs what Michael Moore says about Pac and Suge getting ready to have a fight. And then that's where Pac said that he was done with Death Row and he was a dead man walking. Right? Now, prior to that, right? Or after that, because I can't remember what the date is. Remember, Pac fired Reggie Wright Jr. and Right Way Security, and he fired David Kenner, right? Now, getting back to what Kadada was saying. Now, Jamala was saying that, she was naive at that time. She probably was a little young. And she said, being from New York, she don't understand, the gang culture and everything. So she probably couldn't pick up on things back then. But she in retrospect, in hindsight, it's 2020 now, when she looked back at it, a lot of stuff makes sense to her, right? But she said Kadada was on it back then. And, she said they were sitting in front of the house and she was like, look at him. She said Suge was in the car, leaned back on the phone, and she looking at his body language. And she like, look at him. He could be plotting to do something right now, and we wouldn't even know, right? And Jamala was saying she wasn't really paying attention, but in retrospect, you know what I'm saying? It all makes sense. It all made sense later, right? Now, like I said, when you look at that, remember this is after him and Sugar's going to have the fight. This is after Pac told Suge he was leaving Death Row. This is after he fired Reggie, after he fired David Kenner, right? After Pac ordered it the Death Row, the label, after Pac tried to go and try to take his masters out of the Can-Am Studios. Keep all this in mind, right? Pac is poking the bear. No pun intended, because they call Sugar Bear, right? He's poking the bear. He's trying to go up in the studio and take his music. He done remember Tupac Aunt talks about how she had to send Frank up there to go get Pac because he was trying to go take his music, right? He fired Reggie. He fired David Kennedy. He told Suge he was leaving. He told security that he was a dead man walking, right? Now, on the flip side of that, you got Pac who want to leave, right? Don't want to go to Vegas, right? He's telling people he didn't want to go to Vegas. He didn't want to be there. And then you got Suge insisting that he go to Vegas. You got Suge allegedly insisting that he go to Vegas. You got Suge allegedly telling him he don't need his bulletproof vest. He got him. He going with him, right? Now, another great observation that Jamala said, right? She also co-signed that because she was asked by the interviewer, did Pac have his gun? Because it was said that Pac had a gun. And I'm sure he was referring to Keefy D saying that Pac pulled out a gun and went to shoot at them, and that's why they shot back, right? She said Pac didn't have a gun, right? And then she also co-signed that Frank Alexander was not able to walk around with his gun in Las Vegas. And we know that from Frank. We know that from Michael Moore, right? We even know that from Reggie in the grand jury testimony. And we know that Reggie said this before because he says allegedly him and George Kalisis had the meeting with them and he told them that they couldn't have their guns at the club or whatever. But according to Jamala, way back at Tupac's house, they already told Frank that he couldn't have his gun in Vegas, right? So, and we know that to be true because we have heard Frank talk about it. We have heard Michael Moore talk about it, right? And we got Reggie who testified in the grand jury to that, where he says he don't know if it was him or George Kalisis, but he do know that they was told they couldn't have their guns, right? Now, here's the most interesting part, right? Jamala states that on their drive to Vegas, there was 2 stops that she could remember. One was at 7-Eleven, where Pac grabbed some magazines and some treats. I think she said a sun-kissed soda, some sunflower seeds, because he loves sunflower seeds, right? And then the second stop they made was in the middle of the desert, where Suge got out and went and met with David Kenner, and they went and talked in the desert. Which she said was odd because it looked like a mafia movie. Like she was like, that's when her spidey senses started ringing. ringing. Like why are we stopping in the middle of the desert? And why is Suge meeting David Kenner in the middle of the desert? Right? You know, to her now, and she kept referring to it as like in The Godfather, where they was like meeting in the middle of the desert and having like a secret meeting. Now, if you from the streets, you know there's one reason to meet in the desert. Now, I'm gonna let y'all answer that question, right? Why do you think they Suge and David Kenner met in the middle of the desert? Let's see who gets this one. I got my why I believe, but let's see what y'all say. Off the grid, yep. No wires and no feds watching, right? No mics, right? That had to be the Mojave Desert. Why would Kenner be there? That's right before you get to Vegas. Curtis says set things up. Wires, off the grid, wires, open area. That's the one I'm looking for too. Default got it. No video cameras, no camera, no surveillance, right? So now go back to the house. Suge on the phone in the car. He could have been talking to anybody. Who knows, right? Or he could have been talking to Park Butt, or he could have been talking to David Kenner. But here's the strange thing. Suge is meeting up with David Kenner in the desert on the way to Vegas, and Pac fired David Kenner. And Pac fired Reggie. So they meet up in the middle of the desert, and Pac just fired David Kenner and Reggie, but Suge is meeting up with David Kenner in the desert, off the grid. He could have been like, "Yo, meet me at my house. Yo, meet me at the Luxor. Meet me at the hotel. You know what I'm saying? We like an hour out. You know what I'm saying? Meet me at the hotel." They had a spot to meet in Vegas in the desert. Not at the rest stop, at a gas station, in the desert. And the way that Jamala describes it, she said that it was a stop that they made off the road in the desert. It looked like a mafia movie where they meet up. She said that the scenario looked strange to her, but as you know, that's the best place to have a conversation without the cameras, without audio to pick up a conversation. But to me, it's just weird that he meeting with him after Pac just fired. Because if I'm Pac, I don't want to see David Kenner. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just fired this dude. I got to look him in his face. You know what I'm saying? And they don't meet at a restaurant or hotel or Suge's house. I don't know. To me, it's just a little shaky, right? Now, here's the interesting thing. The interviewer says to Jamala, wait a minute, so David Kenner was in Vegas? I didn't know that, and I never heard that before. Reggie Wright Jr. stated that David Kenner and George Kalisis was at the meeting with them when they told them that they couldn't have the guns. So if you follow this and you read and you look at all these interviews, you know for a fact that David Kenner was in Vegas. Not only that, Suge did an interview about David Kenner being in Vegas and saying that he had a walkie-talkie. So it's strange to me that the interviewer didn't know that David Kenner was in Vegas when they stated David Kenner was in Vegas. Because he was at the meeting at George Khalees's office. And that's common knowledge to all of us that really follow the case. Because, like I said, it's been stated before that he was there. But as she said, so this desert pit stop in Vegas, she compared it to the Godfather, to like they was there to share a secret code. And it was weird why they would meet up out in the middle of nowhere, and who would have set up that meeting, and why would they have it there? Right? But like I said, that ain't no secret, right? Now, before I get to this video that I've been waiting to show y'all, right? In conclusion to this first part of our interview, because there's more to come, and I can't wait, right? I'm letting y'all know. Pork Butt and them are going to try to come out and discredit Jamala. They're going to call her everything under the sun but the child of God, right? Do not let them spin you, because they spin everybody. Everybody that comes out and don't talk their narrative, they're going to get somebody to come on and find somebody to say that she was lying, or that this didn't happen, or she's a liar. She wasn't around Tupac, and we know she was living with Tupac in Calabasas. There's video footage on YouTube at Pac house, birthdays and stuff like that, where she was at Pac house. So do not, I'm letting you know, it's going to be Porky himself. He's going to come out as if he was around Death Row, or he was around the artists like that. And they'll bring Neckbone back, and they're going to try to say that she's lying. Just be prepared for it. I guarantee you. Either Porky going to come back and say she's lying, or they're going to use Neckbone, and they're going to try to get him to come out and say that she's lying. Not saying that he's going to do it or not. You know what I'm saying? But we know the Pork Butt tactics. Just like he talk about his pops, just like he talk about Mopreen, just like he talk about all his cousin. Whenever they say don't fit his narrative, right? They come out and they call him anything but a child of God. So I'm giving you the heads up, just like I told you that they was going to bring that Neckbone back on Vlad and try to get him to fit, being that his interview wasn't controlled. They was going to come back with some questions to fit the narrative, but they did the worst thing they could do. Bring Pork Butt, Reggie Wright Jr. on goddamn Vlad to be the interviewer, to interview Neckbone. That kills all their credibility, because we already know how Reggie is. He's going to make sure you say whatever fits the narrative. Just like he got Neckbone to say, oh man, I didn't think you had anything to do with it, right? But he didn't ask Neckbone, man, was I there when y'all had that fight? Do I always be around Suge? Because they say I always follow Suge, but this night I wasn't there. Or they say that I'm never at Club 662, but that night I decided to be at Club 662. He ain't asked Neckbone none of those questions. He didn't ask Negmo, yo, do you think that I should have been there with y'all when the fight happened or after the fight happened? Do you think that me being the head of security, do you think that I should have been riding in the car with Tupac and Suge or at least been in the caravan with y'all? Do you think that I should have came to the scene of the crime after the shooting? You know, do you think that, did you know that I told my daddy before I got up with any of y'all that Orlando Anderson was the shooter? He ain't asked Negmo none of those questions, right? So before they come and try to discredit her, just keep an open mind. I'm not saying you got to believe her. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you got to believe them. All I'm saying is just keep an open mind and know the tactics that Reggie is going to come and try to discredit this woman in any way possible. He's going to find a way to say that she's lying. Watch what I tell you, right? Now, here's the thing that I'm going to show y'all, right? This one thing that I know that we all know collectively, even if none of us know each other. If this is your first time watching my channel, you know this to be true. The truth has no lies, right? Can we all agree to that? The truth has no lies, right? And when you telling the truth, your story never changes, right? Can we agree to that? When you're telling the truth, your story never changes, right? I want y'all to watch this interview. Now, y'all done heard many interviews from this person, right? But this interview is 6 days after Tupac died. Tupac died on the 13th. This interview is September 19th, 1996, right? This is going to blow y'all mind, especially for y'all that watch me on the regular. Let me get into my legal thing. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for the purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair uses are used permitted by the copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. I am using this under fair use to criticize, comment, as well as research and news reporting in the murder of the assassination of Tupac Shakur, case that's now getting ready to go to trial in August of 2026 with Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, right? Here's an interview 6 days after Tupac got killed, right? I want y'all to listen to this interview and tell me, has this story changed from all the interviews that you done heard about what happened in Vegas with the shooting, the caravan, to the ambulance, to the hospital, to the club, to Tupac dying, right? Y'all ready for this? Check this out.
Feeling, and how are you doing physically?
I feel like this. I feel that the last word is always God. But Pac saved my life. The reason why I say Pac saved my life, I got shot in the head, got grazed some other places, but I still got the bullet in my head that's still there. But for his trying to get him to the hospital didn't make me realize that I was shot. Because usually when you get shot in the head, the first thing the person do is panic. You know, bam, I'm shot in the head, I'm about to die. You know, and once you do that, you can't drive nowhere. My whole thing was, Pox, he was shot. I'm like, you shot? I'm gonna get you to the hospital. I'm driving, telling him I'm gonna get to the hospital, kick back. Pac looked at me and said, you know what? You need the doctor more than me. You the one shot in your head. And we laughed the whole time going to find our way to the hospital. That's the conversation we had. It wasn't, Pac was a man the whole time. It wasn't that he was like, oh, I'm shot. He cracking jokes. He like, yeah, they shot me. He said, but you shot in your head. Look at your head bleed. Look how much it's bleed. That was Pac. I'm like, man, shut up. I'm gonna get you to the doctor.
So he was conscious on the way to the hospital.
He was conscious on the way to the hospital. He was conscious in the ambulance. He was conscious after they did the surgery.
What was the
He was conscious in the car. He was conscious in the ambulance. Now, we know from Chris Conley that Pac was on the floor. Pac lost consciousness. When Pac was in the ambulance, he was not conscious. And we know damn well at the hospital, he was not conscious. Right? And they laughed and joked until they got into the ambulance. Now, how many of y'all remember more recently, Pac Poser asked for him to put on the song, and they played the song that they was listening to?
doing physically?
I feel like this. I feel that the last word is always God. But Pac saved my life. The reason why I say Pac saved my life. I got shot in the head, got grazed some other places, but I still got the bullet in my head. It's still there. But for his trying to get him to the hospital didn't make me realize that I was shot. Because usually when you get shot in the head, the first thing the person do is panic. You know, bam, I'm shot in the head, I'm about to die. You know, and once you do that, you can't drive nowhere. My whole thing was, Pox, he was shot. I'm like, you shot? I'm gonna get you to the hospital. I'm driving, telling him I'm gonna get to the hospital, kick back. Pac looked at me and said, you know what? You need the doctor more than me. You the one shot in your head. And we laughed the whole time going to find our way to the hospital. That's the conversation we had. It wasn't, Pac was a man the whole time. It wasn't that he was like, oh, I'm shot. He cracking jokes. He like, yeah, they shot me. He said, but you shot in your head. Look at your head bleed. Look how much it's bleed. That was Pac. I'm like, man, shut up. I'm gonna get you to the doctor.
So he was conscious on the way to the hospital.
He was conscious on the way to the hospital. He was conscious in the ambulance. He was conscious after they did the surgery.
What was the last thing that he said to you?
They loved me. We was in, we was going in, we was on a thing that was getting there. I like, Pac, we the last one left. When we talk, this is how we talking. I said, homie, I'm straight. I love you, homie. I'm gonna be straight. I love you too. Woo, woo. That's what it was.
There was a report earlier this week in the New York Post that Tupac was looking to leave Death Row Records.
Mm-hmm.
Is that true?
You should answer that. You don't take a person like Tupac who, if you listen to every song on All Eyes on Me, every song on Machiavelli, every time he do an interview, what's the first thing he say? Death Row. Tupac loved Death Row. Tupac loved me. I loved him. I mean, Tupac took Death Row to the next level. I mean, we worked hard and we laid the foundation down, and Snoop took the baton. He ran with it, and he did a great job with it. When Tupac got the baton, not only did he win the race, he finished so fast, he was able to sit back and drink some Thug Passion and come up with another plan. I mean, if you'd asked Tupac that question, that was he planning on leaving Death Row, he definitely would have cussed you out.
A lot of people in the hip hop community have said that this incident will change hip hop. This is a really landmark event, tragic event at that, and that the music will probably never be the same. Do you see the direction of Death Row changing? Is there going to be a different type of music put out?
Not at all. We're going to do the same thing we've been doing and sell records. Like I said before, my main goal is fulfill Tupac's dreams. And Tupac would definitely never want the music to change or the style. So we're going to keep it the way he would like it. You know, and once you do that, you can't drive nowhere. My whole thing is, Pac said he was shot. I'm like, you shot? I'm going to get you to the hospital. I'm driving, telling him I'm going to get you to the hospital, kick back. Pac looked at me and said, you know what? You need the doctor more than me. You the one shot in your head. And we laughed the whole time going to find out went to the hospital. That's the conversation we had. It wasn't, Pac was a man the whole time. It wasn't that he was like, oh, I'm shot. He cracking jokes. He like, yeah, they shot me. He said, but you shot in your head. Look at your head. Your head bleed. Look how much it's bleed. That was Pac. I'm like, man, shut up. I'm going to get you to the doctor.
So he was conscious on the way to the hospital?
He was conscious on the way to the hospital. He was conscious in the ambulance. He was conscious after they did the surgery.
What was the last thing that he said to you?
They love me. We was in the, we was going in, we was on the thing that was getting there. I like, Pac, we the last one left. When we talk, this how we talking. I said, homie, I'm straight. I love you, homie. I'm gonna be straight. I love you too. Woo, woo. That's what it was.
There was a
Is there anybody, can anybody in the comments please tell me in any interview in the last 30 years from other than this interview, where you heard that Tupac was conscious throughout after they pulled him out of the car and he passed out, that he was conscious in the ambulance and he was conscious at the hospital after the surgery? Can anybody tell me where I can find anybody saying that Pac was conscious after the surgery? Anybody in his family, anybody in the Outlaws, anybody anywhere, can please, so I can pull it up right now? Anybody? So where did he tell him that he loved him at? In the ambulance when he was unconscious? Or after the surgery, when the surgery was over and he was still conscious? Where was he conscious at, y'all? Boy. Man. I ain't saying Suge lying, but I ain't heard nobody say that before.
I'm shot in the head. I'm about to die. You know. And once you do that, you can't drive nowhere. My whole thing is, Pac said he was shot. I'm like, you shot? I'm going to get you to the hospital. I'm driving, telling him I'm going to get you to the hospital, kick back. Pac looked at me and said, you know what? You need the doctor more than me. You the one shot in your head. And we laughed the whole time going to find out went to the hospital. That's the conversation we had. It wasn't, Pac was a man the whole time. It wasn't that he was like, oh, I'm shot. He cracking jokes. He like, yeah, they shot me. He said, but you shot in your head. Look at your head. Your head bleed. Look how much it's bleed. That was Pac. I'm like, man, shut up. I'm going to get you to the doctor.
So he was conscious on the way to the hospital.
He was conscious on the way to the hospital. He was conscious in the ambulance. He was conscious after they did the surgery.
What was the last thing that he said to you?
They loved me. We was in, we was going in, we was on a thing that was getting there. I like, Pac, we the last one left. When we talk, this is how we talking. He said, homie, I'm straight. I love you, homie. I'm gonna be straight. I love you too. Woo, woo. That's what it was.
There was a report earlier this week in the New York.
On that note, we'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully, Art of Dialogue will drop another part of Jamala's interview. But hopefully she's watching this. And she is and hopefully she was asked, when was the last time Pac was conscious? Maybe the Outlaws are sitting here watching this. And they could tell us when the last time Pac was conscious. But if he was conscious from the car to the ambulance and after surgery, in 30 years, we didn't hear that? In 30 years? Wow. Wow. I'm not saying he lying. If maybe he was. But I haven't heard nobody say that, bro. That after the surgery that he was conscious and talking and to people where like maybe, man. Maybe. We might have to interview those ambulance, the ambulance people that showed up. Man. This is something else. Choke no joke. I'll be back tomorrow, man, with more. This is crazy. More and more is coming out. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Hit that like before you go, please. If you're new here, please subscribe to the channel. Choke no joke, you know what it is. Keep on hating. You know what it is.
What's going on, bro?
Yo, Cliff, what up, man? Yeah, man, I just got your call. I missed it, my bad. What's going on?
Yo, man, I got an issue, man. On everything I love, man. These kids got me tight, man. I go and I find out that both of my sons, man, is involved in some kind of gang activity, man. I work too damn hard to keep them away from that life, man, and for them to choose that, I just feel totally disrespected, man. I need you to come talk to these little niggas, man, before I just hurt one of these niggas, man.
What? Come on, man. You ain't raised them guys like that, man. You serious?
Gang life, man.
Say word.
Hey, man, I don't know. They got somebody in their ear influencing them, man, and I need you to come talk and holler at these little niggas, man, because, look, I'm at my wit's end, man.
Nah, man, I'm over there.
Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
I'll let you in a minute.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
All right, my nigga. One.
Yeah. DJ 2, you know what it is. Youngster, you are me. It's the reason they call me OG. I saw things you didn't see. Sit down and listen to me. Hey yo, come here, man. Oh, you think I'm corny, huh? Oh, really? I see more guns than Tommy. Who's Tommy? Was I in the army? No. Nah, I got my stripes though. Now listen, broke many nights. Doing what? Pitching that white. No matter hard or soft, trust me, I'm cut from a different cloth. Now look at me, I don't knock my man off. If I gotta kill him, I step off. You know why? When you kill a trife, find yourself killing all your life. Word is bond. You have to live, little nigga, to experience life. Trust me, your mama's the one. There at the end of the night. Let's go. Youngster, you are me. Yeah. It's a reason they call me OG. Let's go. I saw things you didn't see. Sit down and listen to me. Youngster, you are me. It's the reason why they call me OG. Saw things you didn't see. Sit down and listen to me. Come here, man. Listen, you little jerk. They gonna tell you to put in work. What? Then they gonna give you a gun. And tell you to kill someone. Who's already a op. They really want the block. Are you serious? And you gonna take the shot. And then you go to jail. What? 3 hots in a cot. 20 flat to be down with the block. No, I don't. You thought it was your beginning. Nah, that's where you stopped. They knew the outcome and didn't let you opt out. Why? To take they opt out. You the one they'll forget about. No, they won't. Youngster, you are me. It's the reason they call me OG. I saw things you didn't see. Yeah. Sit down and listen to me. Youngster, you are me. It's the reason why they call me OG. Okay. Saw things you didn't see. Sit down and listen to me.
Choke, no joke. Yeah. It's choke, no joke. Let's go. Choke, no joke. Chicken choke, no joke. Choke.